Alright. Welcome back to ReZero Anime Review Episode 57. Excuse me. We're here reviewing episode 52 of ReZero, the series, which is also the second episode of season 2. And it's called, if I can find the episode here we go. It is called Decisive End of Ice and Fire. This episode adapts from the first chapter of Book 17 and about halfway through chapter 2 of Book 17. So, what happens in this episode, I kind of forgot that this happened. Like, I thought it happened once, that was it. Oh no. Okay, so he has a return by death moment. So, like, oh, everything's okay, a little sick, he feels a little better, and then he proceeds to go off on his own to rescue Ludu, that's the kid from the last episode. He gets to the top of the tower, attempts to free him, and then Sirius herself shows up, puts the chain around his neck, and when he attempts to remove the chain, it cuts off the top of his fingers, and his hands are covered in blood. And then he is like struggling best he can, his face is going black, and he just dies. And of course, Lulu, Sirius also proceeds to lick his eyeball. I'm like, that's disgusting. And then we have another return by death. Like a little shock, goes on his own once again. And this time it has Rishis to contact Reinhardt, which takes a bit of time for the show, but does pretty much the same spiel. Reinhardt shows up, and he is immune to her brainwashing. While he goes up and, well, while she's busy with Reinhardt, he goes for the kid, no problem. But she's already kidnapped Tina. And everybody gets brainwashed by her. And then, of course, Reinhardt kills her. And then he dies once again. So he's like, okay, I'm going to go shopping with Baco. That's what he says. So it takes Beatrice, and basically he explains to Beatrice of what the heck is going on. So he explains about Sirius herself. And he has not questioned yet of why her last name is, I think it was, because she's Archbishop Wrath. Valmordi, I think it's called. Basically, that's Portuguese's last name. And of course, basically, he explains to her that there's a form like sensation, and of course, Amelia overhears everything. And she's like, this might think you'll tell me to go back. I'm not going to go back. So, basically, figure out to relieve everybody of the spell. They get there, and as soon as Sirius sees Amelia, she of course attacks him with ice. Because Amelia uses ice magic. Because, let's even forget, Amelia is an ice magic user, and proceeds to freeze her. And of course, you have her saying to, and like, it's like, almost like, you stink, you half devil. And they fight. Yes. And Super uses his time, once again, takes Beatrice with him, and they go and free the kid, and Tina's not there at this time, and they fight for a while. Look like she used a bunch of fire and her chains on her. It looked like she's about to be burned, and then the smoke clears, and she's in the arms of Regulus, the Archbishop of Greed. And he says, oh, I've here to come to take my 79th bride. Bye. This is my part, but yeah. That's how the episode ends. Like, wow. All that happened in 23 minutes? Yeah, that's basically what happened. And that's only from a chapter and a half. Now, I knew Regulus was going to play a role in this arc. I knew that right away because I've read the light novels. And I'm not all that surprised they did this in episode 2, given the fact the last episode, that entire book. Yes, given the fact that the first episode of the season adapted from the entirety of Book 16, plus a section from Chapter 4 of this very book. I was not surprised about that. Not at all. And so far, this is already the second episode season. We're in the second book already. 2 episodes in. In the first 2 seasons, we had to wait 7 episodes before we get to the second book. But there's a reason this time, because they want to get all the dialogue out of the way and all the establishment in the first 90-minute episode, which you at least got to praise it for that. But at least in the case of the first episode, it adapted almost the entirety of book 1. But it took a few episodes. I think it adapted like the first couple chapters. I think it was like two or three full chapters. It was 45 minutes. One of 2 45-minute premieres I have ever seen. The other was the premiere for The Rise of Hero, and that was also 45 minutes as well. But so far, of all the anime premieres I have ever seen, the premiere that aired last week for this very show was the longest I have ever seen. It is like watching a movie. That's how long it was. Not even Overlord had episodes this long. Not really. But all in all, great episode. Was it a major cut? Oh, by the way, in the case of Lucia, she's in the episode. I think it was the second time he does return by death in the episode. After the first time he actually bops her in the head. Yeah, second time. And rest of the time she doesn't play much role in the episode. She's there, and Priscilla's there too. But I do appreciate Amelia plays a role in this episode. But she disappears for a little bit, and I should point out that the arc becomes a lot more exciting once Amelia gets captured by Regulus. Yes, the arc becomes a lot more exciting because he gets a lot of help. He's not on his own doing all the stuff he does. All he knows about is that there are 2 archbishops in the city, and that's it. It's all he knows. Unlike in the case of the other arcs that happen over the course of the series, he has a pretty good idea after multiple deaths. I think in the case of the last season, probably had the most on-screen deaths ever in the history of the show. I think he died like 20 times over the course of the entire season. The first season, I think in the first arc he died like a few times. I think the usual was like 3 or 4, but last season, well, but I think after this particular time, I think that he doesn't even return by death again for, from what I remember, it's been a little bit since I read the books. They read like this book when it was released here, which was about a couple years ago, I think it was released. How long ago was the book released here? This book was released here. Let's see. About 3 years ago. So yeah, it's been about 3 years since the book released here. And in Japan, they've already released book 39. Yes. 39, I think, is about to come out over there. And we only got the 25 so far. So yeah. That's pretty much basically. So if I misremember something, like this might happen because it's been a few years. Here's the thing. I reviewed this book when it came out here. As soon as I got my hands on it, I read it and I reviewed it because I wanted to continue making episodes for this particular review series. That's what I wanted to do. And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. I did the same thing with Doctor Who, and I did the same thing for Star Trek, where anything related to that particular franchise, I'll do. I don't do it for all of them, per se. Like, do I do it for, like, this one, for instance, on my smartphone? No. No, I don't. I do it for some of them, but not all of them. Yep, but not much to say this episode. It's good. So, that's particularly going to be it, particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do not hit the dislike button. Excuse me. So, next up is going to be, wasn't a case goes, but I'm going to wait a tiny bit for that one. I'm going to go ahead and work on the 2-part OVA for Afria. I figured, though, why not work on this now, given the fact that the season's coming back next week? Yeah, not a bad idea. My opinion, anyways. Okay, to the next video. Bye.